Hey guys, welcome back to this machine learning series. Now in the last video, you have understood what exactly is this machine learning. So we have understood that machine learning is like adding the common sense to the computer. So when we talk about this machine learning, what it does is it solves the problem and make the decision just like we humans take the decision. That's the role of a machine learning. Now, in case of traditional programming approach, what happens is as a programmer, we have to define each and every rule. Okay, we have to define each and every rule, and based on that rule, the computer program is going to execute and it is going to generate the output for us. Now, that's what a programming or a traditional programming is all about. Now, in the scenario of machine learning, we'll just give the data set and the computer is going to learn automatically and it is going to make the decision by using the data set. Now, in order to understand this machine learning in as an overall, you need to understand some of the key terminologies that we generally use it in machine learning. So let's look into the key terminologies of this machine learning. Some of the key terminologies of machine learning are like this. See, when we talk about machine learning, so or whenever you start reading any blog or people will talk about some of the important terms. So let's first understand those terms first. That will give you a good foundation to learn more about the advanced stuff which we'll be discussing in detail. So first and foremost, okay, in the last session, I have mentioned something about data set. So what exactly is this data? Well, to put it simply, data is nothing but it's a it's just nothing but this information. Data is nothing but an information or a collection of facts. Okay, it's a collection of fact. That's what we call it as a data set. For example, I've got the data set of the dogs or I've got the data set of the mobile phone. So here in such scenarios, okay, so when I say data set of the mobile phone, so I'll be having a data set where I have collected the data. Okay, I've just collected the data. Let me just show you with an visualization. So let's assume that I've just collected the data set, and on this data, okay, so on each and every row I'll be having the details about individual mobile phone. Okay, I'll be having the details about the individual mobile phone. For example, since it's an information about mobile phone, so on first row maybe I'll have the information about iPhone 12. Okay, in the same way, I'll in the second row I'll have about OnePlus 7. Okay, or in the same way maybe one Redmi phone. So in this way, each row, okay, will have the collection of facts about the individual mobile phone. So what are those facts? Maybe I'll have a fact about, okay, what is the price of this phone? Okay, so what are the facts that I would collect? So maybe I'll have it as different columns. So one is price of the individual mobile phone, and the another column that I would have is maybe screen size, and the another information, the fact of the another fact that I'll have about each and every mobile is, so maybe about operating system. Okay, so these are the three facts or three general facts that I've got for each and every mobile phone. So what I have right now is I've got the table, and this table contains the facts, and this is what we call it as a data. Now here, each row that you see right now, each row that we have got, so we call each row as a data point. Okay, so each row in our data set, we call it as a data point. And here I'm talking about price, screen size, and operating system. So what are these? So we actually refer these as the features. Okay, we refer these as the features. So now let's understand what exactly is this feature. Now when I say feature, okay, features are nothing but the properties or the characteristics of the data. Okay, it's nothing but the properties or characteristics of the data. That's what we call it as the feature. Okay, now in this scenario, price, screen size, OS. So these are what we call it as the features. So data as an overall, it's the collection of facts in my data set. So that means in my data, each row, I'll call it as a data point. And in my data set for each data point, I'll be having the individual features. In this example, price, screen size, and the operating system. Okay, and while working in machine learning terminology, you'll be dealing with one more kind of terminology, which is a kind of a special terminology that we said. It's called as labels. Now here, when I say labels, okay, think of it as the something which we are trying to predict, or think of it as what exactly is the overall outcome which your machine learning model has to learn. Okay, so here in the scenario, okay, I can say that label is nothing but it is feature. It is also a feature which we are trying to predict. Okay, now let's assume that I have got a bigger table. Okay, I've not just have three features, I have one more additional feature. So let's expand this table. The other feature that I have got with me is this. So this feature is saying as whether the customer has bought or not. Okay, so this column that have got whether the customer has bought or not, so this is something that I want my machine learning model to learn. So what I'm trying to understand is, okay, given the price, screen size, and the operating system, given these features of an individual data point, I want to understand whether the customer is going to purchase that product or not. So this is called, so in this scenario, since I'm trying to understand whether this customer is going to purchase the product or not, this bot is actually a feature which we call it as a label. It becomes more clear to you as we start working on a supervised machine learning in the further parts of this section. For now, remember that label is also a feature in the data set, and this is what we are trying to predict. Okay. This is a terminology of label. Now, apart from this label, okay, there's another term that you would generally come across is the predictions. Okay, we call it as the prediction. What is prediction? It is about using the rule. Okay, using the rule, we are trying to predict, or we are trying to predict the outcome. For example, given a new phone, okay, given a new phone, let's say I've got a new phone with the new company as Micromax, okay, with the new data of Micromax with price as let's say 10,000, screen size as 7 inches, and operating system as Android. I want to predict whether the customer is going to purchase that phone or not. So this is what we call it as a prediction. Okay, so when we are working with the data set, okay, so as I mentioned, data is a collection of facts, right? So when we are working with the data set, you will generally deal with two types of data set. So let's understand what are those types. So when we are working with this data, you will generally deal with label data. Okay, this is one type of data that we have got, and the another type of data that you would generally come across is the unlabeled data. So now that you have understood what are labels, labels are the special features which we are trying to predict. So when we are working, there can be a scenario where the data set is a label data. That means we have in my features I've got labels as well. So we can have a label data, or there can be a possibility that where the labels are not present as well. That kind of data is called as the unlabeled data set. Okay, so these are the key terminologies that you need to be aware of in case of machine learning. So now that you are aware of this key terminology, now let's understand, okay, let's proceed ahead and understand what are the types of machine learning. So let's look into the types of machine learning. See, when I talk about the types of machine learning, so I can classify a machine learning into three types. Okay, I can classify a machine learning into general three types. One is supervised machine learning, and the another type is unsupervised machine learning, and the last type is, we call it as a reinforcement learning. We call it as the reinforcement learning. So these are the three types of machine learning which we generally come across. Alright guys, so as part of this video, you have understood some of the key terminologies that we have got in machine learning, that is data, features, labels, and prediction. And you now know what are the types of machine learning. So I'll stop the video over here. In the next video, let's understand these three types of machine learning in detail so that you get a better understanding about these types and you get to connect the dots of whatever we are speaking till now. So team, I want to pause for a moment and I want to ask you, so how are you feeling right now? Are you able to follow along with me? I hope you are able to follow along with me. If you're feeling difficult or if you're having any issues, feel free to let me know in the comment section and I look forward to hearing from you. So thank you so much guys, and I'll see you next time, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search with my name Nachiket Murthy, and I look forward to connect with you on LinkedIn. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time.